Hey, Bumblebee. Just gonna sleep the day away? Boogaboo. Oh, you sleeping?
Well, it's turning into a beautiful day, which is amazing. Although the peaks around us are now suddenly covered in snow, which is mind-boggling how it's 100 degrees a little over a week ago, and we're back into the 40s, which I'm loving it. A little spooky though, because winter's coming. We're hoping that's not a sign that winter's coming too soon. Just topped off the fuel in the backhoe. I am bewildered at how efficient that backhoe is. She just runs so good. We're not burning any oil, and it's very economical. I think since we bought that backhoe, that's the third tank of fuel we've gone through, and I don't even know how much work we've done with that backhoe. So I actually keep a log of the hours. I need to figure out what our average gallons per hour burn is. That'd be a pretty cool statistic. All right, so we've been spending the morning just running chores and getting more materials. Hopefully today is sill plate day. Last evening we worked a lot on just checking our sills, or the top of wall, to see if we had a lot of irregularities along the wall. We do. We're not perfect. They're a little uneven, but what matters is that when we set a sill on there, which we used this board to emulate, and we checked both ends of the board in the middle to check the average of the wall, it's really good. The only area we weren't quite sure, and I thought I might just double check today, is right here by the buttress. It seemed like maybe we just had a little bit of a high spot that when you average it out, the net effect is 3/16 of an inch too high. So I'm going to get the laser set up. Alyssa's working on sending all of our current details over to our local printer to have a full set of plans printed, what we have. I think it'd be nice. We've been using our wall over there with some laminated stuff to help, but we seem to be spending a lot of time on our phones referencing the house plans. So I'm hoping to have just a full set of plans we can look at as we start getting into the floor framing and into cutting the frame.
It's gonna be a good day today because we have new gloves. Jesse and I are totally gonna twin out. Well, guess I'm not wearing gloves because I don't have a way to open them. So you want me up there?
I want you down there.
Okay. We've gotten a lot of rain in the past few days, so our chalk lines are rough.
If this looks like a 9th grade math class, it's because it was. What we were doing was kind of just mapping out some of the stuff that's on our first floor framing plan, but we're more mapping out the materials that we have against the dimensions. We kind of fell guilty of this, by that I mean me, of falling for the linear footage trick. Like, all you need is X amount of linear footage, and you go buy that, but what you don't realize is that you need pieces big enough to do that job. So we kind of had to figure out how to take the pieces that we have and get the net effect. The clencher was over here. This is actually the south wall. There's actually going to be a sill here that's 31 3/4 and 17 1/2, and a vertical sill. And in order to make sure that we have enough for this piece and this piece without having a bunch of little tiny pieces, which would be terrible, we're going to be using a sill layout that looks something like that. And if you can't understand that drawing, no problem. All that matters is that we can understand that drawing.
Exactly.
And by we, I mean Jesse. So that's the strategy. Let's see. So we're pretty much ready to put a sill up.
Okay.
But first, we need to square the corners on the sill. No board ever comes straight from the factory, right? This is basic fundamental lumber knowledge. So I'm going to put a little time into getting the square and creating a square edge and trimming that board to exactly 20 feet. It's about 20 feet, 1 inch right now. What you could work on is get the staple gun and staples, and then let's put some sill seal on that with 2 layers.
Okay.
Because my skill saw, or my circular saw, is not will not cut this deep. It'll cut very close. I'm going to transfer this mark down so that I can finish this cut on the other side. Something we learned in the timber framing class at the Shelter Institute was how to check your cuts to make sure that they are A, square, and B, measured correctly. And we spent a lot of time working on this, which seems like almost trivial, but when you think about the implications on a building, how big of a deal it can be, it's not at all trivial. So what I'm doing now is I'm squaring to my line that I transferred down here, and I can see that I'm off by about a 1/16. But if you look really close, I'm off over here by almost not quite a quarter, like 3/16. So something is not square over here, and it looks to my eye like it's this line right here. This line's crooked. So I'm gonna transfer this line down and see if I end up meeting right here. In this situation, I would probably take a lot more time until all 4 of my lines line up and meet. Then I make my cut. This square agrees. See how parallel those lines are? So something's wrong. So here is my mistake. So my line, hopefully you can see that, is moving towards my square. So I'm gonna put this line on here. So I'm transferring this line, which I made just a moment ago, and I'm transferring that down. And of course, this only works in theory if your timber is square. And so now these lines should line up, which they do. I'm going to void this line out here, and I'm going to work on just the inside line. So I could take a handsaw and cut down here and then work my way across following my line, and when I get all done, I could take my framing square, stick it on my timber, and I should have a really square cut. It is entirely possible that this saw does not cut square, but I'm gonna just try to give it a quick check. I would say that it's acceptable for this, but if we were timber framing, you'd actually have better luck with a handsaw. Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow. Up. Hey. Out. Okay. Watch fingers. Hey, good. I'm sorry?
Happy?
No, off by a mile.
Really?
Look at that. So I don't know if the blade was diving or I picked the wrong line. Looks like I picked the wrong line. Nice. Happy there?
Yep. Can you explain briefly what this is for?
Yes, so sill seal is basically just to fill the gaps between the foundation, which in this case is the top of our wall, and our sill plates. Keeps air from moving between them, bugs, that
So
kind of
we
thing.
have a couple gaps that are about 1/4 of an inch. Will this do the job, or are we also going to need something to fill in those gaps?
No, I think we're gonna double up on sill seal. First of all, it's cheap as heck.
Yep.
And it'll fill the gap. So it's basically like putting spray foam
Oh yeah,
or
that is
whatever
pretty
you
thick.
want.
It's a lot thicker than I thought it was.
So 2 layers of this sill seal should easily tidy up any areas which are low spots. Yeah, I think it'll be just fine.
Do you want to try placing this one? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is going to be pretty treacherous.
Okay. Okay, your way. Keep going. Okay. Try the backhoe.
This is where plan A fails.
Let's put one at 6 feet if we can.
Okay. Well, that was dramatic. For anyone that's ever built a house or done a DIY project with your spouse, times like this can get very tense and result in yelling. Not because you're mad at one another, it's more like you're irritated at the situation and you feel bad about yourself because you feel like you should be able to hold this massive beam back from knocking you off a ladder or something. And I think you're both having to come to grips that two people cannot do this safely, at least with your experience levels. We were able to do this with the backhoe. It's probably a little better than just trying to strong arm it. And hopefully the next sill plates go a little bit smoother. So our sill seal or whatever got totally messed up. So we got this one placed. We're gonna try to level it, secure it, and then move on to the next sill plate.
I'm just worried that like we'll go through all this effort to shim and level the plates and everything. I mean, it's not like you can just, you know, put this in and out, in and out, in and out.
Right.
It goes in once.
Yep.
And if your plates aren't level, but what is level, because the foam, the sill seal is like sponge.
Well, to me, what if we set a 4 foot on this to see how level it is, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to say like the foam is not, it's messing everything up. There's no way to know what is level right now. Because
Okay.
the foam is like, it's
Can
foam.
we try to get it flat?
We can try. That's what I'm worried, is that if we get it flat now and then suck it tight, it's gonna go like this. Because level now and sucked tight are gonna be different.
What we decided we're gonna do, the foam is not centered under the plate, so our plate is tilting a little bit, and we have composite shims. We're gonna go ahead and attach the plate, and then we're gonna shim it. And hopefully, we can get things tight and level that way. Oh, she's not big enough.
Just one little problem after another, you know?
Yep.
It's just how
Well, it
works.
doesn't have to be exact, right?
Well, it's gotta be countersunk, it won't fit.
No, I know that, but it can be bigger then.
Yeah, but we don't have a bigger force
We
bit.
don't. Okay.
Probably gonna need more than one.
Yep. Wow. I put one in, it doesn't do anything. Just stack them like this, you mean?
Yep.
So do a tour?
You just wait.
Okay.
I'm not sure you're on board with what we're doing with shims.
Like butter, huh?
Yeah, I forgot to set the depth of my bit,
Okay.
but I know that my anchors are 8 inches and my bit is 12, and I want to overbore slightly, so I'm not going to take it out on this one,
Okay.
but we'll probably end up setting my depth gauge on the next one. Let me get some air up here.
Okay.
That way we can keep that from falling back in the hole. That's
Yep.
the hardest part.
Sorry, jeans. You're due for a washing anyways. We're making this hole bigger because apparently you don't really want these threads in the wood. You want them in the concrete, so we need to overdrill our hole a little bit.
Yeah, we want this bolt
that's
to
better,
hold.
right?
Yeah, we want this bolt to hold the wood to the concrete. And if your threads are in the wood and there's any gap between the wood and the concrete, the bolt will hold that gap, and it'll never get tighter. So this bolt has to be able to go into the wood, or I mean into the concrete, unobstructed.
It's close to level. It's about where it was when we first set it down.
Does the foam have that much?
Body. It's pretty dang thick. It's a lot thicker than I thought it was.
So what I'm trying to understand is the anchor bottomed out, or am I in fact I literally cannot push that foam down. First one. You know, there's not much, it's not like a big cloud of dust coming out of there. So. Sounds like it's stripping out my socket. Guess not. Huh. Well, I think it is. I think it's stripping out the head. Did you check that to make sure? Oh gosh, that's not even close. Not even close. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that 16th will make a difference. So I'm just shredding the top of that bolt. That's what's happening. So that's where I'm at on the shoulder. Okay. But I want to see how much it drops here. Yep. I bet it's going to be quite a bit. Well, see, now that's shooting level. Yeah, so like this level, it's not a good reference, but it's pretty freaking level. So this will be the true test, would be to shoot each end of the plate and see, you know, now that it's anchored. So right where I'm anchored, it's good, so I'm set for that. Even though that's not anchored, let's shoot that middle part there where you're at. It should be a little high. So if we suck it down with an anchor, we should get pretty close. And then let's check this end here. That's pretty close. I mean, it's within a 16th maybe. That's what we're trying to achieve, is when it's sucked down tight, is it flat? We don't really care where the plates are in relation to the foundation, technically. It doesn't really matter.
The surface is like flat level.
But yes, everything across the plates needs to be flat, 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 flat. And
it looks like we're good side to side too.
Yep.
So
the mega test, and maybe, I don't know if we should, I'm kind of paranoid, so I feel like it may be worth our time to go around and end anchor all the sills. Just keep working our way around, you know, anchoring on the edge ends until it's good.
Getting like really committed.
Yeah, instead of like hundreds of dollars in anchors, only to realize that it's higher over there.
To that. It's cool, but are you worried about it warping at all?
No, because it's cool. Yeah, as long as we don't get like a 85-degree sunny day before it gets anchored. Yep. I feel pretty good about that.
Or cool days. Cool and rainy.
And then as soon as we can get the I-joist on there to keep the sun off of it, that's all we can do. Well, it seems like that sill plate took forever, but I don't think we can be too careful with the sill plates, because this is really where we fix all of our mistakes with the concrete. And when we did all that pre-work yesterday, man, it just seemed almost too good to be true. And I think now, you know, each one of these anchor bolts is about $3. So I think just proceeding with caution is really wise. We're going to try to get at least one more sill on. That way we can verify whether all of that work we did yesterday was accurate or not, or whether we're just crazy. So we're going to do a little bit more work. It's kind of fading light. See how far we can get.
Guys, where are you going? Wow. It's like what happens when a cat gets a hold of a toilet paper roll. Bugaboo? We're gonna run out of this roll here. Yep. I'm gonna drop it. That's pretty good.
So you want this about the same spot.
I'll get the ladder. Okay, I can hold this.
Okay, this is easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to just push it that way.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. You okay?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, you wanna move your leg? Okay, keep going. Okay. Fingers
Okay.
coming down.
Okay.
Okay.
We got the sill plate on. The length is perfect. It's pretty level. It's leaning towards the outside like the other one was, but that should be correctable with shimming. Jesse's on his way up with the tools. It's getting dark, it's starting to rain, and we decided to push forward. We really think it's gonna be good for the mind if we can get this other sill plate on. And if they're pretty level, not pretty, like exactly, over the two of them, we'll go to bed happy, knowing that we're probably good to go to finish.
Coming.
Bugaboo, you on camera? Hey, buddy. Hey, don't walk on the Tyvek. Trying to figure out how to get up here. Stinking cat knows exactly how to get up here. Here he comes. Bugaboo. Bugaboo. Hey, buddy. Oh, hi. Oh my goodness. Dad's gonna be really surprised to see you up here. Yeah. Dad.
You figured it out?
Yeah, he just walked around and jumped
Really?
up where we jump up.
Oh, no way.
Lifted the beam, came right in
gosh.
Mom's lap.
Oh, jeez.
Now he's gonna sit up here.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
He's pretty happy.
He is crazy. If you weren't sure, now I know.
Yeah. Look at him. What cat sits in his mom's lap on top of a 10-foot high wall in the rain,
In the rain.
in the dark, outside? Good enough.
That's pretty much insane.
Wow, I have a huge smile on my face.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know that's possible.
I love that color. I don't think you can see me right now at all. You can probably see Jesse, more so. We're gonna wrap this up because you guys can't see us, and at this point, I think the camera is becoming a safety hazard. So best to put it away. And you guys know what we're doing. We're just gonna get one more bolt or whatever in the plate, and hopefully it's just level as heck, but I guess you'll find out in the next video. Can you still see up there?
Yeah. My headlamp's rocking it, so
Yeah.
thankfully the rain kind of let up.
Yep, my $100 headlamp is dissatisfying at the moment, but it's probably a battery problem.
Probably need to update your iOS
Yeah, reboot.
on your headlamp.
So it must be a PC or something.
Yeah.
Gets buggy.